Is March 11th. I'm Jay Scott.
And I'm Sandy Archer. Good morning. Mugs
Good
up. Mugs up. Mugs
morning.
up.
It's Truth
Everybody.
Bomb. Let's get ready for some Truth Bomb.
Right.
All right,
I
all
almost
right, all
need more of that music.
right.
I need
Need a little
more
bit
of the
more?
music.
All right,
I
we'll have
I,
the
I
see if I
need
can
it to be just a little bit longer.
a little
I
bit
mean,
longer.
I can't get my groove until it's a
You're
little bit
just getting
longer.
it on, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's done.
Yeah.
All right, I get that. I get that.
Man. How's everybody this morning? If you've joined us, say hello in the comments. We would love
Yeah,
to hear from you, and we would love to hear some feedback as to what you think that we need to talk about sometimes or would like us to talk about a subject matter. Just give us a shout, one of us in a DM. So, how about
yeah.
that? A
How
DM.
about that? Yes, we're coming to you from, I've got streaming to my YouTube channel, to the Freedom Life 3.0 YouTube channel, to my LinkedIn, to my Twitter today. So big, massive audience, I hope. No, we'll see.
Freedom
We'll
Life
see.
3.0. I like
Freedom
that.
Life. Yeah, we're living the
Freedom
three.
Life 3.0.
Yeah, we're striving for freedom, from freedom.
So, what do we do in the 1.0 and the 2.0?
Well, that's a good question. That's a very good question. Yep. One,
Is
the
that our
3.0
dash?
life,
This is our
the
dash.
3.0 lifestyle is really the freedom lifestyle, and it starts with, in my world, it starts with crypto and blockchain, right? Because this is a new technology that's going to allow truth to actually matter. Because in the blockchain, you can't hide anything. Everything is transparent, right? So in the 3.0 life, not only is our financial world now transparent, decentralized, so not controlled, so we have now our
Right.
freedom, but also in our data. So the 3.0 life is really Web 3.0, which is the next version of the internet, which is basically now we get to control our own data in Web
Okay.
3.0 world. Yeah. So all the big techie companies that are,
Will it go to
using our data.
4.0?
Well, of course it will at some point, but we got to get 3.0 is really
Where
in its
we won't?
baby. We absolutely will, but we're a baby. 3.0 is like barely even begun now. It's really,
Okay.
I don't know, to really fully get there. We've got to kind of shoo out the Web 0.20, the Facebooks, the Googles. Those are Web 0.20, where they control our data,
Okay.
and there's no real there's no way to transfer value or money between
Right.
either, between two entities without a lot of oversight and banks and regulatory functions and all these different creditors. So you've got
Mm-hmm.
all these layers in our traditional financial world, and Web
Right.
3.0, which is blockchain based, now allows us to get rid of all of that. And so it really is a source of truth. And this is what I love about it. It's like crypto, Web 3.0, the 3.0 lifestyle is about truth finally being secure, because you can't hide. You can't hide on the blockchain. And one of the things that a couple things we're going to talk about today, I'm going to talk about how some of this new tech. So I've just talked about new tech maybe being our savior, maybe being able to free us up. There are ways that tech can threaten us. And so I'm going to talk a little
Right.
bit about some new tech that might be threatening us. What are you going to talk about
Right.
today?
Well, I'm going to talk about our financial moguls that have decided to sell a bunch of their shares of their own companies and what that looks like, and if that's true, and what does everyone think about that? So,
Yeah.
if people are unloading their own stocks of their own companies, is it just to make money, or do they know something is impending? So, it's a
Okay.
question. It's just a question. Doesn't mean
Okay.
it's one way or the other, right?
Well, okay, good. Well, we'll get to that, and we will
We'll get to
unpack that. In
that.
fact, why don't we go ahead and talk to yours first, and we'll see how much time left,
Oh my
because
goodness.
mine
Oh,
could go on and on and on. You weren't ready?
well, good. Yeah, that would be good.
Right.
So I'm going to share my screen on an article that I saw yesterday, and then of course it takes you down to these different what do they call them, rabbit holes. So okay, American Titans, Jeff Bezos, Leon Black, Mark Zuckerberg, Jamie Dimon, and the Walton family sell staggering 11 billion in stock. Now, in the scheme of things, though, if you look at that number of what they, of their numbers, that's not a lot, to be honest. 11
Right.
11 billion between all of them is not a
Right.
lot. So, you know, I so anyway, in this article it goes on to say, is there something going on? Of course, lovely pictures of these. But this is just from the Daily Mail, which is kind of one of those advertisement type of media sources. Okay. Like you see this all around. Like it's
Yeah.
just a bunch of advertisements. So, I think they sometimes just do the clickbait thing. I want to know what you all think. That's why I'm bringing it up. What do you think about this?
Well, look at Bezos. Bezos sold 8.5 billion, I think it said,
Yeah.
alone. And so the first thing, so let's talk about it a little bit, give our 2 cents, and
Okay.
then I
Right.
mean,
And
one of the things about articles like this, especially like in Daily Mail, they do put these clickbait sort of headlines in there, that type
that's
of thing.
correct.
But it is
Right.
true. We did see that these people sold those. I didn't know about all the rest of them. I knew Bezos for sure.
Right. Right.
And what was interesting about Bezos, because I read a little bit about that, it was that they have to file a tax
They have to do
notification
it 6 months in advance.
6 months in advance.
They have to do it 6 months in advance. I don't know if you all knew that. I found that out as I was doing a little bit of reading about it. So,
Well, and yeah, because they don't want to
what
sway
did
the
they know
market
6 months ago?
insider trading. Well, what did they foresee
I mean, it's
or
an
potentially
election
foresee?
year. It's an election year, first of all. Okay. So they don't know where the economy is going 6 months ago. Not really. But what we do know projected wise in the economy that happens on an election year is they drop interest rates. They do all the things to please the whoever's sitting
Yeah.
in the seat is the one who does this, right? Whatever candidate is in the seat does this to look a little bit better popularity wise with the
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah. And the
it's
economy
just
is
a
always a big
total.
election issue.
Exactly. So they're going to drop the interest rates. They're going to drop the gas prices. They're just going to do a big shift in the economy to make it look like they've done this. Now, we know that short term, and we know that doesn't stay, right? So,
Right.
so we can't, I mean, that's my thing. It's like, can we be tricked about that anymore? I mean, really? I mean, as an American public, are you being still tricked over that or not? Or what do you think? Please comment if you're watching, because I'd love to hear your comments. But
Yeah.
you know,
What?
it doesn't, to me, since I'm a moderate, I see it happen in every presidential candidate year. It doesn't matter who's sitting in the seat, it happens, and they do it on purpose. And it's like, why don't they know that we have caught on? Like, we caught
Well,
on to your little scheme there
and the
of
thing is,
doing
if you caught
this.
on, if you caught on, then frankly, I didn't catch on until 2 years ago. And why?
Really?
Because I got into crypto and I started to follow crypto really, really closely. And it's the first time that I've followed any financial system very closely. And as I've probably mentioned, before I got into crypto, I didn't follow finance that much, and I was extremely passive investor in the stock market just from my 401k, which got transferred to an IRA that got put into
Right.
what's the traditional 60-40 stock bond split of different funds. And it just sat there doing its thing and did okay.
Right.
So I never had to worry about the economy necessarily or the financial side of it.
Okay, so that's a good point. Okay, so there is so you didn't really have it impacting your own life until you decided to take more control over something in your life.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Yeah.
going to say this in a general sense, not just about crypto, not about anything, is I think we wake up and we have revelations based on our situation and what we take control over and what we think we want to take control over. And then when we find out that, wow, we haven't been in control of this at all for a long time. And it's like somebody just like strips the band-aid off and you're like, whoa,
Totally.
this has been a crazy wound that we didn't even know we had, you know. So it's
That's a good
it's
point.
it's kind of like um, all of these things I think culminated with the big C and the big emic. So anyway, the big
Emic.
emic and the big
The
C.
the
Okay, that's how
emic.
I'm going to go forward so that
All right.
we're not tagged about this. But it's the truth. We didn't know the systems that were truly controlling our lives until that happened, until they shut the whole system down. And now
Right.
they've tried to reconstitute it in the way that they wanted to do it.
Right.
And even in a bigger wanting to do it way, and whatever that looks like to you. And I see it. A lot of people see it. I think it really. I mean, my thing about that time. I was in healthcare for 30 years, and we had come into that age of HIPAA, if you remember HIPAA,
Yeah.
and that was a big, huge deal because any of the doctor's offices I worked for had to go through the HIPAA. We had to change all of our records. We had to do a lot of, different procedures. It cost doctors' offices a lot of money to change over from just regular practicing to HIPAA practicing. And so when the big C came, and it's almost like HIPAA just went out the window. And I was like, how this is a structure they were trying to control and get into place, and then they just threw it out the window. Like, because before, your employer wasn't allowed to know your medical status, wasn't allowed to
Right.
know, because that's your HIPAA privacy. And so
Right.
when that happened, that was my first indication, because of my experience and because of what I'd been through. I saw that that was a thing. Like that was something that, like, how could they wanted to put this structure in place and throw it out the window, with one,
Yeah.
C word. Yeah.
Uh,
One
and it was
one
fear. Like they did it through
It was
fear.
crazy. It was
And
crazy because no before that, no one was to know your medical information. But when that happened, you were you were made to give your medical information,
right.
which is totally contradictory. So that was my first clue. That was my first
Yeah.
clue that things are changing.
Yeah.
They're about to change some things in a big way, and I don't know why. And I'm a why person. Like, why. You at the time thought I was rebellious for asking why.
Right.
And it was kind of funny, and this is, him and I knew each other at that time, and we talked a lot. So he knew I was like, why? This doesn't look right, this doesn't feel right,
I'm
this is
just like,
not
Sandy,
right.
come on, just conform, will you
Just
already?
conform, would ya? Just do it. And I was like,
Mm.
no, no, because you know our biases and how we live our lives are in direct um, reflection of our experiences. So
Right.
me, knowing that I had to work with a doctor that had to spend a lot of money to change his whole system over to this HIPAA system, knew the cost of that, and the cost of it to the patient, the cost of it to us, I mean, we had things pretty confidential, but this like locked it down. But for one thing to happen to unseal all of that and just throw that to the side, like, everybody can now know your medical information. uh that there's something suspicious about that. I was a little suspect about that. So what was it
Yeah.
trying to do? Well, it's trying to restructure. So I thought that time was a restructuring. And so whenever I see something come up like this article that I'm talking about today about them selling their shares, yes, there are people that know things more than we know. And they're usually at the top of the elites or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call them.
I usually just call them, I just call them the elites because
the elites, the millionaires, the
because it's
billionaires, whatever.
government too. It's, and I think it's above like the president level. It's these insider government people with a lot of leverage.
And guess what? They do know something that we don't know. So you have to just come at that like they know something we don't know. Now, them selling that stock, like I said, in the scheme of things on how they're billionaires, 11 billion is not that much. I mean, it really isn't. So they didn't like unload their whole, companies of stocks. So, but they unloaded some to free up some cash. Now, what are they freeing up the cash for? What is it that they're trying to do? Are they trying to equal out the market? Is what I read, so that they can equal it out. But we do have to look at signs of those types of things and go, okay, what's going on? Question it. And I mean, does it affect me at all? Not at all. I don't think it does. Except for only if Amazon, increases their delivery prices, right? So it will affect me then, if Walmart changes their, if all of a sudden all of their products become more expensive because of something like that, so it can affect me in my place if I'm purchasing from them or doing business with them, so you do have to question, okay, what's going on, but just keep your eye open on it is what I'm saying. That article was a clickbait, kind of has a lot of advertisements in it. So they want you to read that so that you can look at their sponsors, I mean, let's be real. So that's the other thing is what are you reading and what are you believing that is sponsored by a company to get their name out there? You have to,
the Daily Mail.
I feel like we have to question everything.
The thing about the Daily Mail is that it's pretty obvious, right? Because there's all those ads. I mean, what I think is the most sinister part, and I think more people are catching on to this, but Main Street Media. So Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. So he owns the Washington Post. So he's going to, it's Washington Post articles are, no matter what they say, are going to be influenced.
What did they say
right.
about
So, it? But it doesn't say this article is sponsored by Amazon. So it's not overtly telling you like some of these clickbait sites. That it's pretty clear. But what is it? GE owns NBC or Disney or some. I mean, all the Main Street Media is owned by corporations. So that's the insidious part. So I don't trust Main Street Media at all because there's an agenda, a corporate run, profit run agenda. And so you got to really take all of that with a grain of salt. But that's what we see every night on our TVs. If you do any, Fox, CNN, again, all owned by corporate interest. Rupert Murdoch, one of the richest people in the world, has an agenda, pretty clear on what his agenda is, and that's what you're going to get. So what we try to do is we'll come up with articles from Main Street Media, and then if we've got time, we're going to try to go in and see if we can go like one source deeper than the clickbait show. But that's the thing, and this is why we want to bring some of this stuff up, is that we need help. And if you have happen to read something and you can find a source of what's behind potentially an article like that, help us out. Let us know. We're not a huge research team. It's just the two of us that are curious. Wish we had more time and could get to the bottom of some of this. But the thing about this story is that I feel like if there is something sinister, if there is, we probably won't know about it for a couple of
Well,
years. Like this would be
no.
this would be unearthed potentially. Like, oh, remember 2 years ago, because it would take time to filter through. Like we don't really. I doubt anyone's going to really find out what the real motive of this is. Now, I will say, sort of in a general defense, it's probably a tax situation. A lot of these billionaires, sell certain,
They have to.
money and so
Right.
on for taxes. I don't really know exactly. It doesn't quite make
Well,
sense.
the law.
Why now?
The law is that they put these trades in 6 months ahead, so that it doesn't look like insider trading.
Yeah.
So, but they all did it at the same time, which is kind of a strange
Well,
thing. But like
that
you
is what's
said,
interesting.
It does coincide with the first quarter of the tax season, so it could absolutely be tax related. And so who knows? And they know. Who knows?
Their
They
accountants
know.
know. Their accountants know.
Somebody
Yeah.
knows. But I don't think Jeff Bezos is sitting up there going, trade 10 million of my, I mean, I don't think he is. I think he's probably handed it over, like you said, to a financial advisor or somebody that he trusts, lawyers, whatever. At his, that's the thing. At his place, is he the one calling the shot there? Probably not. It's probably in his advisor's hands.
Well, and to add some of the juiciness to it, he's got a new young wife that I think they're married now, or a girlfriend, anyways, and they're traveling around the world. He's having the best time of his life, and apparently he just moved from Seattle to Florida, and he may have to buy his mansion there, and potentially maybe it's a lifestyle move. Which, hey, if you're a billionaire, more power to him. And the thing about these guys, some of these guys, he started Amazon before anyone ever had a clue that online shopping would be a thing, that getting books from the internet, that was crazy talk.
Right.
So,
Right.
You got to hand it to that guy. I think whatever anybody
Right.
says,
I don't look
it's
at all
like,
of them as being a villain.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like him. They vilify him, but ask them if they've ordered anything from Amazon. That's what I
no
want to know.
kidding.
Like, if
No
you're going to
kidding.
vilify somebody, I hope you're not using their service.
I'm sorry. I love Amazon. I mean, I tell you what, the 2 days, 1 day sometimes, I mean, and the thing is,
But
it's
that's
like,
really sad. That's really sad that we are
Is it?
now at that place where if we don't get it in 2 days, we're like, oh my gosh, I got to wait a week. Like,
Well, the thing is,
I order.
you could go to the
things from other-
store. You
Yeah.
could like a lot of shit
You
that
go
I
to the
buy.
store.
I could go get the same damn thing there. But what happens to me is I think, oh, I need this thing, or I want this thing, or whatever. And like, oh, okay, well, I go to the store, and then I just never do. And a week and a week
What
and a
makes
week will
you
go
need
by.
and want it? What makes you
Well, I'll
want
tell you what, I needed a portable ice maker. I needed it
it?
because
Portable one?
yeah, these little ones that sit on your countertop and it makes
Right.
ice, because
I have
my
one.
refrigerator. Do you? There you go. I just got one for my birthday this year, and I'm just like, I needed this. And the thing is, I've been thinking about it for months and months and months, and I'm just like, I really could use one of those.
Well, I hope
because
you got a good one.
I don't know. I got one from Amazon. I haven't even opened it up
the
yet.
one we got is kind of. I
Yeah.
like the little chippy ice, like the.
Oh well,
I
yeah.
like the.
I don't think
what
it
is
has that.
Sonic ice.
Sonic ice, right?
Sonic ice. So there is a ice machine that has Sonic ice.
that makes
okay?
that. Do you have Sonics
Yeah.
in Virginia?
We do.
We don't have them here in Montana.
do.
I
We
do
do.
miss Sonic ice. Ugh.
So the ice is like a deal. It's like the crunchy ice. It's good. So it's so funny. Like how can that be a market? Like Sonic has no idea that their ice is what we think of versus
I know.
their food.
How cool is that?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind
And
of
the ice is water. It's effing water. It's like come on. And yet we would go out of our way to go get some, frozen water from.
You can buy bags of it from them.
Oh my gosh,
know
that's
that?
hilarious. No, I
Did
did
you
not
know that?
Maybe
I
maybe
did.
Amazon
I knew
will
that.
sell that. I bet Amazon can sell that to me.
No, Amazon can't sell it to you.
Why not? Come
they
on.
Can sell you the ice maker that makes it though.
Okay, well that's all that
There's
counts.
a certain brand that one of my clients is in her house, and I said, oh, "That's the name of the brand. I want that. Like when I get my big fancy house, I want that."
That's right. One in every room, of course. When you get
She
your really
does.
fancy.
She has 3 of them.
Well, there you go.
See?
There you go. Well,
didn't know you needed it, but see,
thanks
that's the
for
thing. Do I need it? No.
No. But we're capitalists. We got to keep the
power
economy
grid
going.
Goes off, when the power grid goes off, all ice will be gone. So what are
Hey, you know what, Sandy? Speaking of that, I had a really good idea last night. So I love to write, and I've been wanting to write a novel. Never wrote a novel. I've got 3 books that I've written, but I've never written a novel. And so I really want to write this novel. And I was thinking, one of the questions you've asked me, is, okay, if the power goes out, how are you going to deal with your crypto? Like, what's crypto going to do for you? How are you going to spend it or do whatever? And I don't have a great answer. It's funny.
You told me the river.
No river. What are you talking about, river?
You told me that you would use some contraption that would create power for you down at the river.
I did not say that, but that's a really good idea.
You didn't?
I did not.
You did.
I did
yes,
not.
You did. Okay, go back to our first episode.
I said a river? Well,
yes.
Here's what I thought I said.
You said you were going to go down to the river.
Oh my God, that's a great idea.
What? You had
I must have.
once.
It must have. It must. It must have been too early. We started to do this an hour later because it was just too damn early in Mountain Time, and my brain really wasn't functioning quite yet.
Hey guys, he doesn't remember talking about the river contraption. Apparently, he was dreaming when he talked about it.
Oh my gosh! Well, it makes sort of sense. I just need some power. I just needed some power to get my crypto wallet on my phone.
A water wheel. That's what you said. You would use like a water wheel to create the power.
Well, that's what we need is some power. But here's what I thought. Well, I'll have to put that into my novel because that's what I was thinking was the novel's going to be about World War III or something happens and, but half of the power is out, not power everywhere. And enclaves of people will flock to a certain location and where there is power and they can get the internet because that's all they need to then trade Bitcoin or, use Bitcoin back and forth. So that's my new novel. I have to come up with, it's going to be juicy. We're going to have World War III stuff. We're going to have conspiracy theories. We're going to have all sorts of the juicy stuff. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin's going to save the world.
I have a great title for you.
Oh, good. What is it?
Meet at the water well. Meet at the water wheel.
I got to rewatch that. If that was our first episode, it's like
it was.
I don't remember that, but
you know why? Because somebody mentioned it to me.
Oh my
So
gosh.
It was on there.
Well, that's interesting because
what rabbit hole were you down that day and you forgot about?
I was in the sleep rabbit hole. I'm sure.
What do you guys think about that?
We got a few people join.
Thing?
If you just joined us, if you've never joined us before, this is the Truth Bomb Show where we bring up issues that we're seeking the truth. We're we're truth seekers, and it's about freedom. And as we talked at the beginning of the show, it's like Freedom Life 3.0. We're living the 3.0 life, which is freedom. Blockchain technology and Web 3.0 are going to usher in the era of truth. The truth that we don't have to prove, the truth that is just it's there. You can't hide from it. And that's what we're talking about.
And to the 4.0. I'm just saying.
Can you wait till we get 3.0 figured out? Man, you're a little antsy.
Life 4.0.
Wow, you're a little antsy. I think we got to get 3.0 figured out first.
Yeah.
Well, look at that moon behind you. It's basically you're just going to float into the ethereal blue moon.
That's it, man. That's it. That's what my mansion looks like up in heaven. So
up in heaven. All right, cool. Well, let's move over to this topic about technology. And as much as I love to embrace technology, and I do, there is there's always potential threats to technology. One of them, I don't know if you've thought about, and it is about surveillance. And it was interesting because I ran across this. It was the Dave Rubin Show or the Rubin Report on YouTube and Rumble, and he came across this guy who was talking about embedded technology and surveillance and what that's going to do. And I thought, that's a good topic for the Truth Bomb Show. And then the next day, I was watching. Has anyone ever watched Electric Dreams, which is an Amazon show? and I think it's Philip K. Dick, who's a futurist sci-fi kind of writer, and it's a really cool show because it's one of those kind of like Black Mirror where it has every episode is completely different, new cast, a new theme, but it's always some sort of futuristic sort of sci-fi things, and it makes you think, "Ooh, wow, I wonder if that could happen." So I'm starting watching this episode, and yeah, it's really cool because it let's see, let me look at this. I took some notes. It's like there was this episode where the East and the West were completely divided, and the Eastern side was completely free, and the West side the West was free, and the East was all locked down, and so this girl, she was 15 years old, and she had wandered, or her and her mother, I guess, had come over to the East side, and they got this pass, like a year-long pass to hang out in the Eastern side. It was very controlled, the Eastern side. It was high-tech society, and it was all surveillance, basically. But they made it sound like convenience. Like you had this thing called a DeX, and it was like the bracelets that would then pop up this 3D head, a heads-up display, and it could display everything going on around you, and you could talk to it, but it could also monitor all of your vital systems.
The name of the show again?
Well, the name of the show is called Electric Dreams. Each episode doesn't have a name because I thought it would be, but it was just like episode whatever, 4 or 5 or whatever in there.
Okay.
And each episode is completely different. And so, but it's usually a futuristic thing. And so the West was sort of like the wild zone, and people could live there. You could choose to where you wanted to live. But if you lived in the East, it was very controlled, but you had all the amenities. It was like all the great technology and everything. And the West was kind of the wild, wild West. And so these people from the West got a pass because apparently the mother was a political figure in the West, and they were trying to integrate some of this together. And the mother and the daughter came over, and the daughter went to school, and she felt really left out because she didn't have a DeX or whatever. So she convinced one of her schoolmates to hack into her mom's account and get her a DeX. So she got this DeX. Now she could, talk to the system, and the system could monitor her. And this security guy or whatever, they could talk to her in the ear, the daughter. And the security guy sort of convinced her that her mom was a terrorist, and that the daughter was bred to be like an unknown terrorist because the daughter didn't know anything about it. But they would brainwash these children, and they would then sabotage or do some sort of terrorist act, and they didn't even know about it. And so, but the thing is, it wasn't necessarily true. It was the propaganda that the East side, the new technology that had to control everything and monitor everybody, they used fear of these terrorist attacks. And they would make stuff up and have all this video that would show these terrorist attacks, but they weren't real. And they kept saying the West is trying to take down the East and everything. And so it was really interesting show. And that's what I love about sci-fi, is that it makes you kind of think like, wow, what could happen?
That can happen.
The thing about Truth Bomb is we're thinking, what aren't we being told? Or what are we being told that really isn't necessarily true? And what can we do about it? And so I love the show. This show made perfect sense. So I'm thinking, wow, isn't that interesting that, so that's sci-fi. Well, then I come to this guy. So here's this article. I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see here. Okay. This is not the thing I want to share. Let me get to the website. There we go. All right, so this is the Rubin Report. Let me see if I can make that bigger. If I close that. There we go. All right, so here's a guy in this show. The Rubin Report was talking about this guy who was talking about new technology. So let's just roll this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Okay, can't hear it. Hold on. I think I'm muted. It. No? Okay, the tech gremlins are out to get me again. Mute site, unmute site. All right, very sad because I wanted this. Okay, this guy, I'll just have to talk about it. This guy is named Yuval Noah Harari. and he is an advisor to the World Economic Forum,
Okay.
to Klaus Schwab.
Klaus Schwab.
To Klaus Schwab.
Klaus Schwab.
Yeah. Mr. Fun himself, Mr. Fun Guy, Klaus.
I don't know why I like to say his name.
Well, there's a lot of funny memes out there about him. So what this guy was saying is, okay, he's a professor, this Harari Noel guy, and he's been on a lot of media. And so the clips that I was going to show was a bunch of different media that have him talking about potential future, and
Right.
and he's I'm trying to see. He writes about consciousness, about free will, about intelligence, happiness, and suffering. So that's his general topic. But he also is an advisor to the World Economic Forum, which is kind of scary. And what this guy was saying was that we now will have chips that will be embedded into our skin for surveillance. So it's exactly what that Dex thing was that was talking about. And these chips will be able to monitor our heart rate and our cholesterol, our blood levels, all this stuff that we would have to. That's right. And of course,
so
what they're going to say is, how awesome is it that we can provide all this security for you and all of this health care, and you won't even have to worry about stuff. We'll know before you know when you're sick, and we'll fix you up. We're going to just save you with this embedded surveillance. They're going to make it sound like the greatest thing since sliced bread.
There you go.
And so the issue here is that if he's talking to Klaus Schwab, and we know what the World Economic Forum's motive is to basically control the world as it moves forward in their view. And now, if they've got these embedded chips that will
people eat crickets,
they want you to eat bugs.
Crickets.
They want you to own nothing and be happy about it, and they aren't shy to even say that, which is so amazing.
Which is scary.
If we don't know that their narrative, and if we aren't afraid of it, then you definitely have your head buried.
That's right.
But
you see what
I'm not
Patty
just
said.
I'm
She
not
said
casting.
Yeah. Did you see just
like
like
the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, the one Obama produced. I don't know if I have. I'm not sure what it is, but I totally would agree with that. That the Obamas are part of that whole elite now, and it's interesting because they're now part of that. They're part of government, but they're not currently government, but the government elite.
But they are. But they're not.
So I want to bring up the next scariest
not
part.
Far from the White
So
House. Just saying.
if we've got embedded chips that are now monitoring our health, and let's say they can see your cholesterol is too high, and they would you have to come in and get this medication, whether you want it or not, and if you don't take it, we're going to control your life somehow. How would they do that?
They're going to take your money.
There's a new thing out there. Okay,
money.
My whole world is built around crypto right now, which is built on the blockchain. The blockchain is this source of truth, which allows everything to be transparent, every transaction to be monitored in a good way. You can see who's moving money here and there. But the world that I'm really enthralled with and that we need to help move forward is the world of decentralized money, which is not controlled by a central bank, right? So right now, everything's controlled by the government and the central bank, all of our money and finances and big finance. In the 3.0 world, where it's run on blockchain, decentralized blockchain, where every transaction is open to anyone to see it, nothing can be hidden, there is this thing called a central bank digital currency. So what it is that the governments around the world are trying to use blockchain technology, the same technology that Bitcoin and crypto are on now, that is free from control, but they will control it. And they'll use the blockchain to monitor everyone's transaction, but they're controlling the money. So if you eat too many cheeseburgers and now they can see your cholesterol is high, and you walk into a McDonald's, that transaction won't go through if it's controlled by these central bank digital currencies.
Cheeseburgers, they have insects in them now. But anyway, I digress. I digress.
Maybe that's how they're gonna, it's like you can have the cheeseburger bug made ones, but you can't have the regular ones, and your card literally won't work. Your CBDC card Won't work.
Right.
So they will now absolutely be able to control all your transactions, monitor it, and know, wow, this person is spending a lot of money on this and this and this. We don't like that narrative. We're going to cut you off. That is absolutely possible. And so as you start to hear about CBDCs, folks, run for the hills, do everything you can. They'll make it sound good. They'll say, look at all this freedom you're going to have because of the central bank digital currencies. You just carry it on your phone. You don't need cash. I'll look at all the convenience we're going to have.
No, they're embedding it in your skin too.
Well, eventually, all you got to do is hold up your hand.
They already have a couple people that tested it out.
Well, there you go.
Have you seen that? Yeah,
I've heard about
they already
things like
have
that.
People that are like, oh, this is so convenient.
Well, the
How
Apple Watch
convenient
does it right now. It's like if you have your Apple Watch on, you just hold it up. So now just embed the Apple Watch into your hand. That's kind of what it'll be, like having an Apple Watch embedded into your wrist.
A fitness tracker, right?
Yeah.
And I was wearing it all the time. And I have to say, I mean, I'm not, I'm not 100% conspiracy theorist. So, but I
You're just
started
radical.
thinking, well, wait a minute. They know when I'm sleeping. Like, I didn't like that. Like the fitness tracker knew when I was asleep. Well, anybody could hack into that information. If they knew where I lived, they know I'm asleep, right? Like, so I'm more vulnerable. And I know that sounds crazy, but I thought to myself, no way. So now if I wear it only when I'm working out, and I take it off so that they don't know my patterns of sleeping.
I like that. I mean, you're so sure, like they don't know because they're listening.
Right.
They're watching.
They know where my IP address is that's connected to that fitness tracker, right? So they know my location, all right? So they know where I'm sleeping at.
And they really, I know that they're really going to want to, out of the billions of people, they're going to come after you because you're sleeping.
Yeah.
I mean, they want you. They don't want me. They don't want anyone else.
If they wanted to do something nefarious and to, attack me in the middle of the night, or
well, you certainly don't have a Siri. You don't certainly don't have. You don't have the listening devices, right? You don't have like
I do.
Like an Amazon.
I do. I do.
All right. Well,
I do.
Then they know everything that's going on about you.
Absolutely. And I tell them, hey, I know it's exciting, but I like to read this book.
Hey, Alexa.
I tell them all kinds of things.
Play music for Sandy. Do you have it turned on?
I can't hear you because I got my headset on.
Oh, that's right. Darn.
But that's the thing. I know people that unplug it when they leave, and you can do a drop in. Like I can with my phone drop into my own house and listen to what's going on if I want to.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
They have a drop in. Yeah, it's called drop in. Oh yeah.
Sweet. Can I drop in? Can I drop into your? I want to drop into your house and
no, only if you have
listen to all your shenanigans.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like they know from those devices to all of that. I mean,
who's they though? I mean that's the thing. Like, who's they?
Who's the they? Well, the they is
it the same elites?
Is alphabet soup.
Jeff Bezos. It's Jeff Bezos taking his 8.5 billion.
But you know what? Who cares? Like my mom, when she first got a car that had the new technology in it, which was OnStar. Okay.
Right.
And my sister said, Mom, you really shouldn't have that because then they can track you. She goes, oh, yeah, because I'm exciting because I go from work to home to the grocery store. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's exciting. And she was like, I don't really care. But see, that's the thing, though. She's like, I don't really care. So that's what happened in the beginning of this is people were like, no big deal. No big deal.
Well, most people didn't understand it, like that it could really, like what could it really do at the beginning?
Because we don't think that way. We're not thinking with nefariousness.
Well, they don't sell it that way, and they don't sell it that way. I mean,
no,
they sell it. I mean, of course it monitors you. That's the point, because when you get in a wreck, and if you're knocked out, it's supposed to know you're in a wreck and call 911. Well, what a cool thing! But that's the thing. So when the CBDCs come out, when the embedded chip comes out, they're going to paint it like it's the best thing in the world.
And
the thing is,
easily do it.
It will do those things, right? but it'll
Yeah.
also do some other things. And part of that is, I think, just awareness like this, like just talking about it and say, look,
Right.
you know that this thing that sounds so good, it could do this too. Now, the issue here for me is that I don't want to live a paranoid life. And, the thing I appreciate about Sandy is that Sandy loves to talk about this stuff, but you look at her. I mean, she's cheerful. She gets it. She's laughing. She's like, you know what? I'm not going to let it ruin my life. I'm not going to let it, make me paranoid and scared, but I am going to be aware about it and talk about it.
That's right. That's right.
And I think that's the way to do it. I think that's the
You
way,
have
be
to.
aware.
I mean, here's the thing. This is moving so quickly, and AI has just amplified it like times
Totally.
10. And 5G and all these things that have made things
Robots.
faster, easier, whatever. Now they can artificially make your image, if you just think about on this thing, this is the device that they're using to follow you people. It doesn't matter that I have Alexa.
Right.
This
Right.
thing is doing it. After
Totally.
I get off here, I'll go on my Facebook and it will bring up everything we talked about as an ad. It's probably going to show me ice makers. So that's
Right.
what's going to happen. Right? Like crunchy ice makers are going to show up in my ads, which if there's a
Right.
cheap one, please show it. Anyway. So you have to know how to use the technology also. So if you're aware, then you know what you can do. Like I said, I take my fitness tracker off only at night
point.
because I don't need it to monitor my sleeping. I don't care how long I'm an REM. I know if I slept well or not. I don't need something to track the weather because I can walk outside and see what the weather is, right? So there are things that are not
Is it
necessary.
raining? How's the
Is it
weather? Yeah.
raining?
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Feels like it's
But
raining.
is it real rain, Scott?
Okay. Yeah.
Real
There you
rain.
go. See that she's always gonna get me. She's always gonna poke me. She's always gonna poke
I'm
me.
always gonna go that one level step further.
She just wants to poke me. Hey, check this out. This is talk about. I don't know what you think about this, but look at this picture. This is a face. This is a face.
Oh,
This
he's
is
so
me.
cute.
This is me. This is me, a little bit younger, a little bit gruffer. But this was a face swap I did So I basically had.
You got curly brown hair.
Look at that curly hair going there,
Yeah, curly brown hair.
But I said, give me a cowboy in front of the mountains or whatever, and have him have a nice suit on or whatever, and it put this guy, and then I had this selfie of me,
Exactly.
and I ran this program, and it face swapped me, and that my mom doesn't think that looks like me. I'm like, it kind of does, but yeah, this is a rough sort of Yellowstone version of me, but it's amazing what you can do with this stuff. I can't wait to do yours, Sandy. I'm going to put you on something.
My mom said it doesn't look like me. Well, of course your mom would say that. She had
Right.
you.
This is true. I'm
like,
going to
that
put you
doesn't
on,
look like you.
Rosie the Riveter, like those pictures of
Oh,
Rosie
yeah.
the Riveter. I'm going to put your face
Right.
on one of those. I think that would
Oh,
be good.
Lord.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Well,
You'd be good. You'd be right in there.
This is what this show, we just want to bring it to your attention. It isn't about us knowing the truth about it because obviously we don't know the truth about things. And so, but, we also don't want people to just be, walking around like a zombie, like you don't know what's going on because you need to know. Why do you need to know? There's lots of reasons you need to know because it's going to affect your pocketbook. Like I went, the economy. So I went with a friend yesterday to go car shopping. That's a fun thing. And it's insane.
Car
that
salesmen
the
are my favorite.
The
people.
cars are so expensive right now. It's ridiculous.
Except for a
How
Tesla.
in the world?
Tesla prices are coming down. Did you look at a
How
Tesla?
in the world? Yeah. Well, how in the world are the other electrical cars? How are we going to afford that? Nobody can afford that. They can barely afford to live with rent, housing, much less a car payment that is absolutely astronomical. So I don't know how people are doing it right now. And what's sad is this friend is not is down on their luck because their car might be mechanically done. So what do you do in that case? What if you don't have the money for a car payment? What do you do?
Yeah.
And they have to use their car for their job. Their job depends on the car. because they don't stay in one spot. They have to travel around to do their job. So that it's, right in your face. It's like, yeah, how are you going to afford this? How is this going to happen? You know, credit, our credit scores are, indicative of interest rates, which is insane now, like, and they're bringing out the social score soon. So yeah, that's another, let's dig into that next episode.
Okay.
That's
The
a
social
teaser.
score. Will that come
Teaser.
like with our?
Teaser.
What do they call it? The global ID.
The social
I don't know if that's
score.
connected to
There's a
that, but
social score. So
does that mean
yeah,
how
we're
friendly you are, or
allowing.
how much social media you do, or what does it mean?
No, it's your social score. I'll bring it up. I'll bring
Oh,
you
okay.
the articles.
You can
We'll talk
educate
about it
me.
the
I
next
don't know
time.
anything about that. All right.
See? Ha!
Ha.
Aha! Right off the top of my head.
Okay,
I watched a
folks.
really cool movie this last weekend called Damsel. Have you seen that movie? It's
No.
about a girl. She's a princess.
I
I
saw it
like
on.
these
Is it
medieval
Netflix? I think I saw it
princess.
on Netflix.
Yes,
Yeah.
Netflix. It's good.
It had like a.
It has a
It had
dragon
like
in
a
it.
really. Yeah, it had like a really scary picture on the little icon. I'm like, what's that all about?
Right. Right. But
Dragons.
I
Huh?
want you to watch it in terms of it's really all about the girl, right? It's the movie's about the girl. That's why it's called Damsel. And the way and I like the way it's portrayed, and of course I like the ending too. But the thing is that that's how we need to do this life, like, is the way she did this. This
All
is the
right.
thing.
Well, that's our assignment,
I just
folks.
want
Go
to leave
watch
you with
this.
that.
Go watch this movie, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Damsel. Yeah. I thought it was good. Oh, Patty, you watched it last night? That's cool.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
yeah. And I liked how it panned out. So anyway.
All right.
Okay.
We'll do it. We'll watch it. Okay, and we'll come back
Watch
and
it.
we'll give you some more truth bombs. All right.
Truth
Well, let's wrap it
bombs.
up here for this week. So hopefully we'll be back week after week. We took a couple weeks off. We're gonna try to get some more organization, some structure. We're gonna be stringing this to Freedom Life 3.0, and we really want to. Yeah, we really want to talk about these topics. But we also want to spread the news, and just we want to be free. We want to feel like we can do something with some of this crazy stuff that's going on, and we don't have all the answers, but let's talk about it. So,
Yep.
all right, folks.
That's good. Mugs up, everybody.
Mugs up.
Cheers.
We will
Have a
see you
good
next week.
day.
Thanks for
See you
watching.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.